Assalamualaikum and very good morning to my fellow lecturers. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude toward the evaluators for hosting this presentation. My name is Hilman Jalil. I am a third year SSJ student from School of Computing, Faculty of Engineering. Today, I would like to present my final year project titled UTM Inbound Mobility Application System, or as I would call UTM-IMAS. As you can see here, there are the key points for this presentation. For the first part, I would like to explain about the introduction for this project, including the current system problems, the aim for this project, the project objective, and the scope of this project. Next, I would like to discuss about the literature review for the current system. Furthermore, the chosen methodology will be discussed later in the next part. After that, I will explain the proposed system's project design, including use case diagram for the proposed system, design architecture, and example prototype of user interface that will be designed in the system. This presentation will end with the conclusion for the presentation, and I will entertain any question you may have. I start off by the problem backgrounds for the current system. As you can see, UTM International is the organization that handles the students' mobility in the UTM. For my project, the focus is on inbound mobility module. Inbound mobility module focus on the intake of the international students to study in UTM. So, with the current system, whenever foreign students want to study in UTM under student exchange programs, they need to register into specific programs manually by filling in the forms in the UTM International website. Besides, even before they apply for the exchange programs, when they need to gather the information about their specific programs, they need to explore the program themselves manually, and the sources for that information is quite limited. Furthermore, the course offered on the current UTM International websites also not updated frequently. This may cause the students cannot get the latest information about the available courses when they want to apply to the exchange program in UTM. Next, I will explain the project aim for this system. The aim for this project is to develop a web application using the server-side technology and employed to the UTM International for easier the student registration and course management. The objective for this project are to develop web applications that are suitable for the inbound mobility system. Besides, the students also can view the course syllabus offered by the faculties in UTM. Next, the UTM International staff can view the records for each of the applicants' details so that they can sort each applicant's status, whether accepted or rejected, from the exchange programs. After that, faculty staff can record the course information into the UTM-IMAS. For the scope of this project, this system will be focused on international students who want to apply for UTM exchange program handled by UTM International. Next, this system will also be used by staff from each faculty in UTM to manage the course offered by their faculties. For this chapter, I will explain about the current system analysis. As you all know, the current system for the inbound mobility is operated manually by the UTM International staff. As you can see in the table provided, there are examples of current system under inbound mobility, which is student exchange program and summer school program. As you can see, the registration process is similar on both the programs. The students need to fill the application details form manually and provide the necessary information and documentations needed by the system. Besides, both of the programs don't offer the students to create personal accounts before register to the programs. This means that all the student overview information only depends on the personal details that the students fill. Both of the programs don't offer real-time course information update during the registration process. This means that the course provided in the system is not guaranteed to be available at that moment. This can lead to confusion among the students, thinking that they can apply to that course. In fact, that course is already not available in that moment. After that, the verification method to identify the qualified student to be accepted in the programs are both doing manually by the UTM international staff. The staff will gather all the applicant details and sort it into separate files and filter one by one according to the application details to determine the qualified applicants. In the meantime, the courses offered by each programs are different from each other. The Student Exchange Program course is based on faculties in UTM. Meanwhile, the Summer School Program is limited under Malaysia Tropical Educational Experience called UTM-IMAS. Lastly, both programs will notify the applicants manually by staff through email, and they both on web platform. The technology used by the development of this project is divided by two, the client-side scripting and the server-side scripting. For the client-side scripting, HTML and CSS is used for the development of the front end of the web pages. HTML and CSS will be used for the arrangement of the content on the web pages. Meanwhile, for the validation and special effect of the web pages, JavaScript is used. JavaScript is useful for the logic interpretation for the web pages and all be done on the client side. For the server-side scripting, PHP is used. PHP is embedded with MySQL for the data storage for this system. This system uses Apache Web Server to execute web pages from the user request. This scripting is not accessible from the user. For this chapter, I'm going to explain about the chosen methodology during the development for the system. For this system, I choose the waterfall method because of the following reason. Firstly, the requirements needed for the development of the system is clear and well known between the stakeholders and developer. Next, the waterfall model is simple and easy to understand. Besides, the approach of waterfall model, which each phases are processed and completed one at a time, is very suitable for this project. The waterfall model has 6 different phases, starting with requirement engineering and ending with maintenance. For the system engineering phase, the main focus is to identify what the system can do and the requirement of the system. For analysis phase, the models will be analyzed and the business logic will be generated. In design phase, the overall architecture for the system and the software and hardware is specified by the developer. For coding phase, the actual code will be start written and the requirement will be implemented into the technology. The testing phase is important because all the source code written in coding phase will be tested to ensure it complies within the system requirements. Lastly, after the system deployed to the user, maintenance phase will occur to ensure the system operates at the optimum level. The requirements for the system is divided by two, which is software requirement and hardware requirement. For the software requirements, Visual Studio Code or any IDE is needed for the code scripting and editing. Adobe XD is needed for the prototype design of the user interface. XAMPP is required to manage the Apache Web Server for the server-side scripting. For the user interface display, Safari or any web browsers is needed. Microsoft Office is needed for the documentation for this project. Meanwhile, for the hardware requirement, an operating system is needed between Windows or macOS. For the RAM, 2 GB is minimum requirement and if needed, 4 GB is recommended for smooth user experience. For storage, 5 GB minimum of hard disk drive is needed and recommended to use solid state drive for smoother performance. The screen resolution is recommended at 1280 by 1024 and the internet connection is required during the development. In this chapter, I will explain about the requirement analysis and design for the system. Figure shown is the overall use case for the UTM-IMAS. As you can see, there are three actors that involved in the UTM-IMAS. The student and agent actor is inherited by the actor user. User is involved in four use cases, which are create account, login account, edit profile, and register application use case. UTM International is involved in four use cases, which are view profile, register agent, evaluate application, and view application. Meanwhile, for faculty, it involved with three use cases, which are register course, delete course, and update course. For the system architecture, the pattern that will be used for the UTM-IMAS is Model View Controller, also known as MVC architecture. As you can see in the figure shown, this architecture is made up by three main components, which is model, view, and controller layer. Model layer consists of system main functions and all the business logic and data. Next, the view layer consists of user interface that interpret as the output for the end user. Finally, the controller layer. Controller layer acts as middleman between the view and model layer. For the user interface development, we use Adobe SD to sketch the low-fidelity prototype for the UTM-IMAS. As you can see, we include the two examples for the user interface in the UTM-IMAS, one for UTM International View and one for the Faculty View. As you can see from the figure, on the left, the interface for UTM International to view the applicants from the user, and on the right, the interface for faculty to register the new courses into the system. In conclusion, there are some improvements that UTM-IMAS brings to the current system. As for today, the universities in Malaysia invest in many ways to attract the international students to study in Malaysia. But weak and unorganized and not systematic approach by current system to attract the foreign student make it less benefits for the universities in Malaysia. So, UTM-IMAS is proposed so that the intake for UTM can become more systematic and easier for the students to register here in UTM. So, that's all from me. I hope that my presentation is clear and benefits to all of you. Thank you for lending me your ears. I hope that I will see you again next time. Goodbye and Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum and